The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a space technology that allows you to work with the fields of the universe. Creating a wide range of plasma field interactions and conditions, it allows the body to process itself from any physical or emotional imbalance. Once this balanced condition is achieved, the soul and emotion of the man can follow to find their balance, elevating the whole of the man. The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, technology of the future through advanced plasma knowledge.
The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit. A plasma space technology to prepare humanity for transportation and transmutation in deep space. Essential processes are embedded to prevent mutations and psychosomatic conditions during deep space travel. This new system is designed to support upper body conditions, especially of the lungs and intestines, and can be targeted specifically for each organ. When inside the Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the body experiences balance in totality, enabling it to correct and rebalance all the fields within itself. The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a dimension in health and transportation never seen before.
Okay, here we are back after that lovely music in the last video. I really like that, Mr. Gesh. Are you ready to begin the second part of today's show?
As usual, ready, able, and willing. But depends if our knowledge seekers are ready and willing to hear.
Yes, indeed. Well, we have a couple of hands up here from people we don't usually hear from. So let's see. We have Saga SS, if you'd like to go first, and Virgil would be next. If you could say who you are and where you're from, that would be good. Thank you.
Saga, Brasil.
Do you need a translator?
Yes. Rafael in the background.
Yes, he's here.
Hi, Rafael. Good morning. Or good afternoon.
Hello, Mr. Gesh. Good afternoon.
Would you like to translate?
E Saga pode falar.
Rafael, só um segundo que eu vou desconectar o áudio do Telegram para não dar eco.
Okay. So Saga is just disconnecting the other audio because he's having echo there in his side.
Pronto, agora já foi, Rafael.
Pode falar, por favor.
Está escutando?
Sim, só tenta ser bem sucinto, né? A pergunta, por favor.
Tá. A minha pergunta para o Mr. Cash é o seguinte, não sei, talvez eu seja um pouco visionário também, mas quando ele fala da máquina de aprimoramento do OVNI, né, do meio de transporte, que será agora uma coisa, vamos dizer assim, universal, ele fala dos elementos que compõem, que fazem com que a máquina nos teletransporte a qualquer local. A minha pergunta é, sendo talvez um pouco visionário, esses elementos que compõem essa máquina, ele pode ser colocado em uma cidade, em um país, ele pode ser aprimorado de uma forma em que uma cidade inteira, ou um país inteiro, ou um planeta inteiro
Já entendi.
tenha essa interação para que possa né, para que
So
possa ter um teletransporte ou um aprimoramento.
Já entendi, já. Deixa eu passar essa parte. So the question from Saga is, when you say about the enhancement units, now you talk about some elements that you have to transport people to make the transportation of people. So these elements that you put in the enhancement units that are embodied in the enhancement units can be put also in cities to make this without the need of the enhancement units.
Can you explain what you mean?
Okay, I'll try to be more clear. When you say about the enhancement units, you say that there are some types of elements and systems embedded inside the systems.
Yep.
So his question is these systems that are embedded inside the enhancement units can be put in the cities so people can make the transportation and feed themselves without the need of put the enhancement units itself in the cities.
What do you mean put them in series?
Let me try to ask Saga about it. Saga, você quer dizer os elementos para colocarem da unidade de aprimoramento, colocar na cidade, seria isso? Não ficou claro essa parte.
Sim, porque o Mr. Cash, ele diz que a máquina, ela contém os elementos necessários para fazer, né, esse aprimoramento para que o ser humano tenha todas as condições para se manifestar, né, em qualquer local do planeta ou do universo.
Sua pergunta é se esses elementos estão na máquina, podem ser colocados aonde na cidade especificamente? Isso não está claro.
Não, pode ser colocado numa cidade ou num país ou num planeta inteiro para que as pessoas que tenham a condição da alma, o ethos, possam fazer esse teletransporte, possa transformar isso tudo numa nova era, numa nova era.
Então, só deixar claro. Então, esse elemento que você quer está dentro da unidade, colocar na cidade, você está perguntando isso, é isso?
Na cidade, num país ou num planeta.
So what he's saying is like the elements that you have in the enhancement unit, if you are able to put this in a city itself, to enhance that city or enhance the country or enhance the whole planet. I think that was his question, but I could understand.
I mean, you set it for the cities. This is what we said. Yes, the cities can be set to do this. We already explained you can cover massive areas once the knowledge of the man becomes complete. Any other question?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. We had another hand up. Apparently not. We had a question in the YouTube here from Peng Peter. Will the friction created by the magrev of the spaceship and the plasmatic field of the magnetic fields of the matter environment create visible light, making the spaceship glow while flying?
Yes, it's quite possible. Depends what the spectrum of friction or the interaction of the fields creates the friction. We will see this without a shadow of doubt. We'll see lights. We will see a dimension of the interactions. And yes, it's inevitable. These are dynamic systems. You have a dynamic field. In the lab, what we feel the fields in our body. We can feel what they create, what emotion they create in us, what physical changes they create. The beauty with the new enhancement unit system, especially the one we are designing and testing at the moment, is that they will create cosmic rays and rays and fields which are not known to man. Then these will interact with the environment in a way that we have not seen before. And this is why we allow knowledge seekers gradually to come to the knowledge, because otherwise you just fly over their heads and they don't understand. There is a lot to be understood. There's a lot not to be understood only by the knowledge seekers, to be understood by the society, by man of science, by man of whatever you call it. Because I was explaining this afternoon to one of the knowledge seekers. And I've explained this before, if you've been around. If not, you will understand. When we opened the first factory in Italy, in the north of Italy, Keshe Foundation went and employed one of the top managements in one of the top companies of the steel manufacturing in Italy, paying massive wages because he was one of the best managers who could bring everything out. And after a few weeks of operation, we saw there's a problem. There's a huge problem. I went to the factory and I noticed something very strange, because even though the man was a manager of top companies, he was well thought after, he couldn't understand. I walked into the factory. The first thing I saw was a pile of maybe a meter high, maybe more, like a mountain of maglev system nano-coated piled on top of each other. I said to them, do you know what you're doing? He said, yes, they're nano-coated, waiting to go into the maglev system. I said, do you know what's the problem with your maglev system? Is that these nano layers should not be touched, not be damaged, otherwise they don't work. That's why you have a problem in your maglev systems. Because the man didn't understand the knowledge. Even though he was very knowledgeable in steel, he had no knowledge of nanotechnology, layering, and how delicate it was. Even with his PhD and everything else, he was a very elegant man, perfect Italian in a lot of ways, but never understood the knowledge. And this is a problem we have with a lot of knowledge seekers. When you make a maglev system, watch what you're doing, how you touch it, how you hang it, how you do it, And then you get a different field operation. Drop it, zap it, and put it in there, and it doesn't work? Of course. Have you ever managed to bake a bread by putting that one at 360 and just putting the dough in and waiting in 5 minutes to eat it, unless you burn it? You have, and knowledge seekers have to gradually understand even what does it mean traveling in this system. What can I do in this system? With this system, we fly over a certain limit. There is no international law. They told us in a meeting that you need to go to a space agency because above 80, it becomes part of the space. I said the people of the space don't even understand the technology. Why should I go and ask them? They have to come and ask us how you do it. They can't set a standard for us when we created the standard. They're still trying to sort something out in the space lab. They're trying to sort something out to land on the moon in a few years' time, to maybe build a few centers there and taking pieces and pieces. You walk in, you can live on the moon with this technology. It's exactly how you live within the womb of your mother. You come as a single sperm and egg, and you become a total human being with the environment which the womb of the mother creates. It's the same. Now you have the ability to, as I always said, increase and bring in the tenth of the field, and then you can live anywhere in the universe. When I did one of the first tests in Iran, in Sharif Tehran University, we used to be in a 4 or 5 beautiful 5-story block here. And the office of the manager was on the top, and I was on the first, second floor. And one day there was a knock on the door, and the guy said, "Excuse me, can you switch off your system? Because nobody can call in or call out of this building." Thousands of square meter office block was paralyzed with a simple system. But do we look at the frequency blockage, or do we look at it that this gives us a chance to increase the fields, combination of the fields, and create a dome of life anywhere in the universe? It's the narrow-mindedness of the man who makes his road and path narrow to walk. This is what we become so narrow-minded that we only look at the material and matter state. Now, when we look at the field states, it's a different ballgame. And these systems are there to create that initial school of thought that you can do the next. Would our children need a vehicle to travel when, through understanding of the generation of these technologies, understand the soul of them is a flying system? And now be the only time that Messiah can answer anymore. We pack shop and go somewhere else. Maybe another planet Zeus, to change the man from being a wild thing to become a beautiful, tamed and understanding, or maybe enhanced knowledge of others in the universe. Try to understand the interaction of the fields, and then you can be everything that you can imagine. Nobody can send it to you as a product. That's what I always tell you. I am the Messiah, but the Messiah of my own physicality and my own soul. Let's see if you understand it. I'll tell you one thing which I have said very recently, and you have heard it. Very soon, the world religious leaders will take their turbans off and their hats and their crowns, and they'll walk as normal man on the street, as the man become wise to the knowledge of the Creator, and no one can be in between or translator. Shall be the same with the kings, those who thinks they can king the others, where man realizes the kingdom is within the structure of the knowledge, not with a fake crown on the head. Any other question?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. We have Dr. Gato with the hand up here.
Hello, thank you very much, Rick. Good evening, Mr. Kesh.
Good evening.
Thank you once again.
What happened with teaching today?
Oh, I had to change because I invited them here. In fact, some of them are already here. I've seen one ask a question in the chat, but this, again, we are running out of words to express the experience of releasing this new technology every week. So it's amazing 1 week, it's very amazing next week, it's way very amazing, and now we have run out of words. But in any case, let it suffice when I say that your technology is more than amazing, and I welcome the new change.
It's our technology. Collectively, we are developing it. And collectively,
Thank you very much. Yeah, the collective development technology is more than amazing. Thank you. I have a question. You said that this system can take four passengers. And because there is no wheel, including the steering wheel, which of the souls of the four will think, and then the machine, the spaceship unit will go to the moon or another place, Mars? And how about if two of those souls or two of those people, passengers, two of the four are thinking in different, they are thinking of, one thinks of going to the moon, the other one thinks of going to the Mars. So what determines where the system goes? Thank you very much.
We were discussing this in the past few days, that how it works. You know, the best way I can explain it, we call it in Farsi, if you understand the beauty of the language, Tarof. In Persian language, it's very common. You say somebody, please go first. No, you go please first. Well, actually, I want you to go first because I value you more. So we have, please, do, please, take, please. In the process of the traveling with this system, the respect of the power of the soul of the one which is valued and respected will take the position and the dimension. You want to go to the moon? I want to go to the Mars. But is the what I call discretion of the balance of the souls, which will decide. I want to go to Mars, but I'm more anxious to go to the moon. I come with you. You can take off. I go to the next. You will not be abandoned because the captain is gone. The captain is you because it's state conditional. It's very much understanding the work of the soul. And then You don't get abandoned in the middle of the universe because the captain came up and went for a walk to see something, and he wants to do it for 1,000 years. The beauty of these systems is how you get connected and how it connects with you. You will understand this more and more. We are doing a lot of tests in the background, and it's beautiful how we see these things building up as we are putting systems together to, in a way, to communicate and find a balance within the souls. If you notice, I said the control system in these systems is not built that when you put the helmet on your head, you become the captain. The system is built within the structure that everyone, collective balance, will become the captain. Man has a lot to learn. We are building these systems in the progressive development of the knowledge seekers in the background who have reached the point of maturity to understand.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh. I have another question.
Yes. You allowed too much again. 2 questions.
Yes, thank you very much. This question is loaded, if I may say so. So the question is the first flight going to take off from Iran and either on December 12, as you said, or 6th of June 2022? And why Iran or why not? Thank you very much indeed.
First of all, Iran is the mother birth of Western civilization. As I explained this before, we know it and we understand it. On the other hand, Iran is where the Mitra came from. The land of peace, the land of understanding. And thirdly, we chose Iran because it's the mother point birth of most of the living civilization, connection in all directions. I explained this before, and in time, you will understand more and more about it. And secondly, we are not restricting the flights to Iran only. If you listen to the teaching, we open the dimensions to different countries and nations. We'll be receiving 3 units a week. And by the time we have the first flight systems ready and packed to go and everything else, we most likely about 10 of them on the run in the assembly. And gradually we deliver things step by step to the countries which purchase one. And then we put them into flight. Don't forget, citizens of each nation has to come to take their system to their nation. I'm not a pilot and I'm not a delivery man. Or do you want your system to be on the waters, on the trains for 8 to 10 weeks, where those of you who bought it, you come and take it and guarantee that you fly it when we say so together. You understand gradually what we are aiming at. You understand gradually how we set the system separate. The enhancement unit, body enhancement unit, the vertical unit, the horizontal unit, the brain unit. Because the man will suffer in different ways and it needs to be adjusted in different ways. And these enhancement units will take a long time for mankind to be able, all of mankind, at the same time. Unless you see achievement and development in the soul of the collective man. You got to realize one thing, that once we blow the wind of the knowledge of the universe to the soul of the man, every soul on this planet will be educated. But not all souls are ready to go through transition. Any other question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Cash, and congratulations.
Congratulations to you, and I hope you will be one of those who will take one. That's one of my deepest wishes.
I look forward to doing exactly that as soon as possible. Thank you very much indeed.
I am Shanta.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. We have Stefania as well here. Stefania, can you go ahead?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Cash. Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Can you hear me properly? Can you hear me properly?
The whole universe can hear you, Stefania.
Good. As you already said, the teaching is not just to the earth, but up to the universe. Yes, I would like to say something that I wanted to say last week, but it just came to my mind afterwards regarding the spacecraft. So you show us that there are four spaces in the spacecraft, and it remind me a lot of the Mojan, and also you said a few workshop ago that this enhancement unit, this machine, this flight system, are will be like for us, like to teach us to fly, like you said a few workshop ago, if I understood correctly, that will be like a pilot in a simulator. Where we will learn how to fly with no fear. So my assumption when I look this fly system, it's like because it's like because, as you know, in the Mojan we're supposed to fly, but we didn't have any system. We had our body, because as many times you said that our body is our spacecraft, and in the Mojan you started to taught us about the soul, where the soul is, how to interact, and then towards the end you prepare us for the fly. And you always said you were like our, how you say, the midwife. You saw yourself like a midwife for humankind to take us to the next step. So everything you said, through my personal experience, you always said what there is in the teen. So, you know, everything you said, it always became reality. So the same when we were in the Mojan, when you ask us to after you explain us how the soul works, and you explain us where the soul was, all the teaching that you give to everybody in the you taught us as well, and all became, I experienced a lot. It was a life-changing experience for me, the Mojan. It changed completely my life. The life was never the same after that, because many things happened, and so to me that became reality. So but you said that because so basically when we were supposed to fly, I know I had the fear, and I pretty much sure you told us too. So it's not like I imagine it. You say to us that the reason why I start to rotate really fast was because I had fear of and the fear take over, and I didn't stay straight. So I kind of stop all the process because of fear. And a few workshop ago, you said that this is like it will take off the fear. So my assumption is, correct me if I'm wrong, my assumption is that we will do like the Mojang, where we're gonna be able to use, make the spacecraft with our body, but the machine is for it's kind of give us support on the transition and take off the fear. This is my assumption. Is it like this?
As Mojans, both in Ghana and especially in China, you were taught and matured to be able to fly with your soul. But as I said, you were not mature to see the knowledge. All Mojans, those who came through it and understood it, we see this system on the screen. The knowledge you were given is the next step, even the next step after this system, as I said before, where you learn to travel with your soul. You learn to live through your soul. And this is important to all of us. The Mojans were given the knowledge in full, but to the lack of understanding when they read, and whatever you might have, degree of knowledge, not the financial, very soon they'll come to understand. Many times, I wish I would have taken more knowledge seekers as Mojans, that one of them would have elevated through the understanding and teach the others to travel through this. Some of you took little, some of you were not there to take little, you were just there to see what you can do and how it's going to change you, but you never understood the knowledge was given within your soul. And then if you understood it, in a few months, in a few more teachings, say, now I know, I was told how to change, and now I can do. We're getting very close to those who were true Mojans, to even they start understanding how the souls will become the vehicle for them to become the next passengers of space. And you became universal councilman, and at the same time motion, you will see the structure of the change faster than the others, most probably. It's understanding it, is not just listening to it.
But I have to say that for me, it was very life-changing, the Mojang experience, because you remember, Mr. Cash, even when my skin changed color, there was a point where everything you were saying in the morning, it would happen in the evening. To me, when I look back to the Mojang, that for me was the reality of how everything is. You give us the opportunity. It's like when a woman got pregnant and suddenly her body changed. It's not under their control to to become bigger and accommodate their body for the baby, when the last day when you told us to fly and we went in star formation, and it was like an engine, like a machine who start up. It was like something, like if you connect with something bigger, it's like the same as a mother, her body change, or like you said always, you don't have control on your heart, that beating every night, all night long. You're not aware of all the processes that happening inside your body, but they're happening. There's this intelligence that your body has to make all this happening while you're doing other stuff. So when we were supposed to fly, and I felt the certain things that were real to me and to others, because I was not on my own. We were in four, and when things start to happening, it was like that, like if it's a superior intelligence took over. But I did. It was like what you said, you cannot think. It's not about thinking. When you think is not it, things start to happening. But at the same time, is exactly what you said, that we don't lose our physical me, whatever. So the fear took over, because I could tell that we were going, something bigger was going to happen next. And I didn't, it's what you said many times, when we have to be ready of let go everything. It's like, you always said it, it's like when someone is ready to die, so it's ready to let go everything. And I realized at that point that obviously I was not ready, obviously. So I tried to stop all the process. And I did felt a little bit like a failure. I did felt like a failure. And then I look back, and it was a big lesson for me, because this is all real. And what I understood as well, that exactly what you said, we're creating condition, and then the things happen. And I think this is what we're doing now. We're creating condition for things to happen, and the things will happen. That's why part of the condition is also to be ready, really be ready to have this full trust you talk about, and to have not to have fear. And I understood from the Mojang, there is not space for fear, and I understood that the fear will go away with the knowledge, with the understanding. So obviously, I agree when you said that we were not ready. Otherwise, we would have done it, because everything you said happened without us doing anything. Everything happened very spontaneously towards the end of the Mojang. I remember you also said to us when we were on the plane not to connect. Otherwise, we would stop the plane. Many things happened during the Mojang that I will never forget. And they were very, very real. And the only things I can, so in one way, I wish I would never let you down. Yeah.
No, you haven't let anyone down. You just gradually mature to understand it faster than the others. In a way, you've been trained for it. You've been taught what to look for. We had those knowledge seekers who came to knowledge seekers as Mojangs's, but they had a different agenda. And we had those as knowledge seekers who came to become Mojangs's, and they truly were there to achieve it. if you look at, you talk about the four chairs in this flight. Why do we introduce four-chair system to start with? Look at the star formation, four system, and then the collective soul will decide with the soul of the system. This system is not a structure. This system is alive. It interacts with you, knows your need, gives you what you need, and take what you don't need. Unfortunately, if you look at into this building structure, have you seen a toilet yet? When they cut it layer by layer, have you seen any facility for you to get rid of what you don't need? Because the system will take everything what you don't need. The man will change in these systems. When some of the knowledge seekers don't know, the knowledge seekers who became Mojans and joined us in Ghana for a few weeks, then we flew them from Ghana to China. And they stayed with us there a few more weeks. And we promised them we bring them together. That bringing together is when the soul matures to be. And those who were not understood will be weeded out. The time for development of the soul comes step by step. And then when you understand it, you become the pillars of, in a way, the lamps to guide others to follow. You don't become prophets. You become the one which burns to let the others to see the way, see the path. And it was beautiful to see how a few of the knowledge seekers literally achieved the dimension of the progress of their soul to become the true Mojans. And I saw one, two, and one which came there with the greed of the time, not with knowledge of time. And you still see them. They are very visual, we see everything. And it's amazing how knowledge will come back once you've learned it. It's embedded in you. Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you very much, Stefania. As you can see, we haven't allocated any kitchen, dining table, toilets, or anything else in the system. Because the system is unified. The system will take what you don't need and give you what you need.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. Also, what I remember, just briefly, you also said something that you repeated last Thursday to us in the Mojan. You said to us, you can move the earth, the position of the earth, if four of you, but this, I don't know if I remember correctly, four of us. And when you can go around the earth and change the fields of the earth and be able to move the earth. And this reminded me this last week when you talk about the spacecraft like stars in the universe. That really reminded me that. Yes, so I just wanted to talk. I wanted to say that this as well because I understood it. What you told us in the Mojan, I understood it last week when you talk about the star. I didn't quite understand at the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gradually, we understand ourselves little by little more of whatever little we know. Any other question?
Yes, Mr. Kesh, we have, let's see here. We had a question from Marco in the Q&A. I didn't quite understand the first part of your question there. The second question was, and taking advantage of space, how do we achieve harmony between the crew, the soul of the man, the soul of physicality, and the physicality? And yes, the physicality always does something on impulse.
Soon you will learn that there is no such a thing. And there is no captain. And when man enters these systems, he becomes a peaceful man. There is no greed in the man. There is nothing. You feel peaceful. You feel serene. You feel I have everything I want. I'm not hungry. I don't need food. I don't need wealth. I don't need warmth. The emotion of the completion is one of the one things that those who become passengers of these vehicles will feel. I'm complete. Man has not or does not have this emotion as such developed in it. I have everything I need. When you are passengers of these systems, the way they work and the way they structure the field balances of the body, you might walk for months whoever need to take food. Because the field set up around you within the structure of your cell still interacts with this environment, does not need the machine. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to come. There's a lot for man to explore, to understand.
We have a couple of questions that are similar here from Peng Peter. Are two spaceships able to communicate with each other, similar to how one submarine makes contact with other submarines by tuning into two different frequencies of radio waves? And the other question from Dan, which is similar, can two flight units meet during the trip?
Of course, you interact. In the development of the technology, when you understand more, it's very simple. When we just explained, you expand the fields around you to make a shield, or you're creating environment to sit. And what they're asking is just to connect the fields of the two or the three. When you create a similar field of strength, you become part of one. You can jump from one to another. Man will learn a lot very much faster. Time has come to mature.
Geraldo asks in the Q&A, Mr. Keshe, you said that while flying, it enhances the soul. Is this the beginning of freedom of man in order to fly through the soul?
This is the way called to teach you gradually, yes, for those who are ready for it. I said many times, a very beautiful English saying, you can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make it to drink. Because it's not ready, it's not thirsty. Man is not thirsty for peace. Man is not thirsty for not to need to kill. Man is thirsty to kill, to be above, to be something more.
Andre in the Q&A is asking, when will there be an exhibition in Brazil, like a technology fair?
I don't know. At the moment, we are pushing with what we have in Linz and gradually building it up, most probably. We got to realize Keshe Foundation is on a very, very delicate path. world leaders who are what they call themselves superpowers don't want to lose the position. So Keshe Foundation sharing such a knowledge that everybody can go everywhere is a problem. So in a way, we want to have the technology, but we don't want to allow the others have their own state superpowers will become equal. At the same time, part of the problem with the Keshe Foundation is we show you how is a new true dimension of your soul, understanding it, walk away from religions. So religious leaders are not so good with us either. But the only thing they don't understand, we are here to bring the change, and we are here to see the change to go through. This time, man will walk out of this planet as a peaceful man, as a man who believes in himself and understands the process of the creation, that no one can cheat him in the name of anything. And this is what it is important for all of you to understand. You're giving you the freedom of yourself. You're not enslaving you to become us. We are part of each other. And if you understood this, if you haven't understood this, you still be on the streets and in the maze of the knowledge, in the maze of lack of what we call understanding of the process of creation. If you listen to all the teachings, some of the teachings, and understand it through each of it, many of you should have traveled with the soul. Many of you will have understood the operation of your engine center. You don't need to be in Brazil or to be in Mexico or to create exhibitions somewhere. At the moment, one place is good enough for us. We are here with the engines, and we show the technology. And it's what others to do. And as the German newspaper article said, Messiah sells, prefers to sell than enslave the soul. If you notice for past years, many of you knowledge seekers who are in the background or with us, you have offered us hundreds of thousands of square meters of land. You have offered us the most prestigious properties around the world. You have offered us farms. You have offered us buildings. You have offered us everything. Foundation has refused. If you made a financial donation that allows the expansion of the technology that we spend to do it, we accept. But if you have offered us, how many of you I can call one by one and you can come online and say, ancestral properties, things you developed and you're not interested. There shall be no temples in the path of the belief to soul. We are not here to do what we've seen has been done wrong to man. We build enhancement centers to elevate the soul of the man, to teach, to believe less suffering, support. But when I look back at the Keshe Foundation, people offering us unlimited lands where I want you to build, to have, to bring the Omeni temples. I created the temple of knowledge in your hearts and your souls, and that's all that counts. It's you who has to keep that candle and make it to a fire. That's as simple as that. Where we create the exhibition center is for you to come and see, to elevate your knowledge, to increase your knowledge. And how you do next. When you come in, you feel, you understand. Any other question?
Kind of along those lines, there's a question from Freed in the live stream who says, Dear Mr. Keshe, Did the government of China in any way respond to this Keshe Foundation flight unit with their nuclear-capable hypersonic missile, which was published widely in the last few days? Is there any coincidence there?
Nope. You got to realize I've said this before, we were invited by the Chinese to meet in a special meeting for the space flight. And then they realized that they don't have much to show, but they were talking a lot about something. And they said, no, you cannot see the system, but can you give us the combination of the fuel that we can test it? The Chinese have not reached the maturity of the technology, understanding the work of the technology. And I told them very recently, you stole from us, you stay till you learn. Chinese stole a lot of technologies from the Keshe Foundation in immense ways, and they turned it into their name that it doesn't show it's from outside. But step by step, they paid for it. But they change. You will see. You don't need supersonics, whatever. As I said to the Iranian officials in the past few days, we take the enhancement flight systems into Arizona because it's ours. It's part of the Keshe Foundation. We take it to Tel Aviv. We'll take it to Jerusalem. We take it to Mecca. And let's see who wants faster to get to the other side. We see in the past few days, Israel is creating a huge budget to be able to do bumper bumpering, as I call it. The technology we have in Iran doesn't need bumpers. You won't even reach the border. That's not bump it. But it has to come from the intelligence of the Iranian leadership to put the hand of peace out to every nation. We gave the knowledge freely in the hand of Iranian leadership, and somehow they have to understand how to use it to change, to bring back the beauty of not only Zoroaster, the way, Kurosh, and seriously, but where kings came and wanted to be part of the Persian kingdom empire because it was a peaceful place. And this comes by the maturity of Iranian leadership and understanding it. And in a way, as I said many times, we open the nuclear centers and we gift it to the other nations, as the technology we have has already made nuclear technology obsolete. What are we negotiating for? As I said to the Iranian leadership very recently, the only nation who's been punished for its development in technology is the Iranian nation. Because we are advanced, because we are developing technologies beyond imagination. Sanctions against knowledge. Maybe it's the time to really teach the others that they'll become ashamed of themselves. So don't worry about how and who we can bring the Chinese supersonic missiles with a flip of a finger. But that's theirs. They have to develop it to learn, and maybe from it we see. As we have seen in the past few days, provocation by development of technology to destroy each other has become the habit of man, and he has to come to it. We have to do and carry on the way we are, irrespective of the governments and nations. Keshe Foundation has become a nation yet taught beautifully, so openly, and then you will see how you add to it. I have already made a nation out of you. You do not even know what is about to hit the mankind. When you have equal knowledge, you already have become equal. We rule different way than the world leaders. We rule through science, technology, and the solar. And we teach all three at the same time.
Mr. Kesh, Boniface in the chat here is wondering about access to units. He says, greetings, can Mr. Kesh lend or offer on credit to knowledge seekers the units at a subsidized pricing?
You talk to us with open the channels. Many knowledge seekers have done many deals with the Keshe Foundation. Even the flight into space, we can talk with you. Many knowledge seekers, we allow the first enhancement units to be negotiated. That is their income. And it will be the same. You make an offer to the foundation, and if it's reasonable and it's something we can expand and extend onto, we always collaborate. It's your knowledge, it's your technology, but we have to expand it, that it doesn't become exclusive.
Christian in the Q&A is wondering if these units are an evolution from the 92nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop from 2015, where Mr. Kesh explains about the star formation and the use of 2 magravs. Says, thank you very much, Mr. Kesh, for the beauty and evolution of the knowledge presented and explained today.
I hope this will bring peace to man. And knowledge seekers have always been the flag bearers. We have put the price of this system at 10 million because of a specific reason. Knowledge seekers who approached us to be able to be part owners in these crafts, we always look into. When we have the knowledge seekers who can travel this span of this planet and beyond, governments have no more say. It means us as a race take over equal way together and be supported, but it has to be understood. It has to be totally understood. We will explain very soon a new way of all the knowledge seekers who are a part of, and in a way, progressive development of the knowledge with us, we open a channel to them that they understand. We open a way to them that they understand. And you talk to us, the foundation is open to do anything that the knowledge spreads and is equal across. Many knowledge seekers soon they become travel agents when you can get these and you can transfer passengers to Moon, to Mars, and to New York, to Tehran, and the rest of it within a flick of a finger. You will see new announcements through deep developments which we have within the commercial world in a very, very short time. We're just tidying up the back end. And then you will see how the Keshe Foundation will become one of the largest corporations in the world. Any other question?
A couple more here from Liznio in the chat, who says, I felt how hard it is to accept to sign the World Peace Treaty, and recently I've seen consequences of not accepting to sign the World Peace Treaty after the presentation of it. How important is this for the flight units to be accepted?
You have to sign world peace treaty through your heart, through your soul, not on the paper. We have no papers and no pens. You write it with a pen of your soul. This is what we said from the beginning. You see, you got to understand the people who instigate wars, and then we find out it's for their own personal benefit. And then we'll see where they will end up and how we'll end up. We learned about one of them in the past few weeks. Why? We saw the replication of the same, because they came from the same blood, they came from the same way. Netanyahu created Iran as the biggest enemy, and they started selling arms to protect the Muslim against and sold arms to the Saudis. Why? Because he banked 20-30% of the deals in his own private banks, private account. He did the hatred and to create a condition to collect money for himself. No world leader has over 2,000 court cases hanging on him. Now, was Iran getting to the nuclear position, or was he making a black sheep that he could make a benefit by it? This is what we have to become alert and understand. And knowledge seekers have to start becoming wise in how they manipulate you and how you allow them to manipulate you, because the next guy on the moon, sure, and because he can do a magic, he'll become profitable. And how many of you are going to believe? You will soon understand. Much more is behind the teaching than what we talk. There shall be no king, there shall be no world leaders, and there shall be no religions. We all become the religion and the leader and the king of our own souls. And this is what a lot of people don't like, because at the moment they're bent to kiss hand. That's the time where they have to kiss their own hand of their own demise. Any other question? Or shall we call it a day? I think it was a beautiful way to see how man has moved away from the four wheelers to the wheel of the soul of the man, which is dynamic in this way.
Well, we have a comment from Azar that Mr. Kesh, there's a noise that comes from your microphone, like gush sound.
Yeah, it is my headphone.
I think.
Just
I think you're moving or doing something there. It sounds like some zipper. I try
to concentrate on the teaching of the soul and anything else, and sometimes it moves. The microphone moves. We change so many microphones to find the right way without actually bothering Rick. And this creates a lot of background things. Can you hear me now easier?
Yes,
and you don't hear the swoosh swoosh. Yeah.
You're better now. I thought you were busy in the background doing some things, so sometimes that happens.
No, it's just that keeping concentrated on the task.
See, what else do we have here?
We had a day. You've been at it for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, this may be a quick question from Alberto. He wanted some direction about, he says, the Spanish group and many international visitors to our group would like to begin building the plasma feeding stations. Do you have any suggestions for us on going about that?
By a flight system, it does feed you on its own.
So bypass the feeding unit towers and just go for the flight system.
For the flight system, flies you, feeds you, does everything else for you.
Sounds good.
It'll be good. This is more or less beginning of the completion of the technology. The next step to this Oh, the reason I introduced the flight system in such a small, versatile, is that can be reached by every man. Then trying to build through the fields massive space UFOs. This will be done in a coming time. In a coming time, not very long, a number of these systems will be set in a formation that through it you will find massive, massive UFOs. In a way, each system will take a place, and with it, you create a new ship. Not very long to go. Once a man gets hold of it, understand it. As I showed, you could connect these together. Now you can connect it together. And
already
even understand why this shape we chose this. Little by little, first learn to walk and then we'll see how you.
Okay, before we let you go, I'll just read the comment from Marius here, who had a question for you too, but I think it'll be, you've already answered it in many ways. He says, having such a revolutionary way of traveling will lead to our freedom, maybe not for all humans, but to those who will own such a vehicle or a spaceship. And this is opposite to what the world leaders want, but will force them to consider such changes into our society, maybe new regulations and restrictions. But at the same time, I see this as an opening to a new way of living, new cities, and a fresh, new, and healthy planet Earth. Then he asks, how do you see the future, Mr. Keshe? Are we heading to as a human race in the next 10 to 20 years? Thank you. As I mentioned, I think you've already answered that.
Yeah, answered that one. There's one thing for sure. In the next couple of years, we won't colonize the moon. We'll live on moon as we live in other cities. We will not colonize Mars and whatever we're trying to colonize. We'll live as part of us, as part of the citizens of there. We will talk about the solar system, not about planet Earth. And in the coming time, man will speak living in a galaxy. We will travel the depth of the space in a very easy way. And if those of you who manage to work of this simple system to elevate the understanding of the knowledge, you will travel the span of the universe. But you're not the first ones. Many races have already been through it. So we are not telling you the future. We tell you what is already happening and has happened to many races. Life starts with the interaction of the few fields, and then the interaction brings intelligence. Depending on the strength of the field, that intelligence has been created. They take different paths, but at the end, they create a structure like a brain, a structure like physicality, and without a structure, understanding the center is the soul, they create new life, new structure of existence and application. Mankind has not been the first one and shall never be the last one. And as I say, I'm a part-time job. And this correcting and teaching and bringing different races to see the path of the Creator is one of the things I've done for a long time. And I think I'll be at it after the human race is gone, as other places in the universe develop gradually. As more fields interact and create new lives. Maybe some of it with the soul of the man who left this planet and start to cycle. We identify that. Thank you very much for today. And we have opened through the new era with this technology, but in a way, I wonder which president will ever be able to get into one of these systems and actually flies. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Get together and purchase these systems, because I love as I've been all the time to see the knowledge seekers to be different, and then they bring the ethos of the work into the work. Thank you very much.
Okay, I thought maybe I'd play the cycle of creation to end the workshop with. That's
Well,
okay.
It'll be nice to see this video of the
Yes, I want to play that first, actually. Of the
Thank you.
unit. You mean?
Yep,
The flight unit. Okay.
the flight unit, any of them, they're beautiful. Thank you very much for the team in the background putting this together, especially Marius. And a lot of work done by me to put these pictures and everything else. Thank you indeed.
Yes,
Bye.
yes. Beautiful work, yeah. Okay, thank you all for joining us today for the 403rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on October 21st, 2021. And we have what's coming up, the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace coming up next Tuesday, as usual at the 4 p.m. Central European time. And I believe the Knowledge Seekers Workshop for next week should be at back to our usual 9 a.m. Central European time.
Yes, it will be definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I'll play the flight enhancement spaceship video here first, and then we'll go out with the cycle of creation video. Bye, everyone, and thank you for participating in today's workshop.